that bad. But for me, I would just rather them do the lidocaine and just get it out. I remember when I was a kid, because I had to go to the dentist to get fillings.
We are live, by the way.
We are? Okay. Well, I had to go to the dentist to get fillings and stuff, and I freaking hated getting the shot in my mouth before filling.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, so I asked my dentist one time, I was like, can you just do it without the Novocaine and the lidocaine? And he was like, are you sure?
He actually entertained the idea?
Yeah, he did. And he did it for like a small one, a tiny little filling, like just one of the smaller ones. And it fucking hurt. And after that, I was...
The last time I went to the dentist and I had anything done was like over 10 years ago. But they put the needle in and like at the back, you know, at the joint of your jaw. And he put the needle in too far and I felt it scrape on my jawbone.
Yeah, he probably got a nerve too. I had that happen to me last time.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoy that intro conversation there. You know, we like to...
Talking about dentistry and
this
stuff.
is just, I mean, we were just having a conversation sitting here and I was like, hey, I guess we got to go live and do a podcast. So welcome.
Hi, guys.
Back to the Tuesday night edition of the Weekly Narrative, the Alt Centrist podcast. Come in on, grab a seat, get comfortable. We got...
Fill the stands.
We got some very interesting things to talk about with you guys tonight. Namely, right on the top of the list, you guys can see in the title of the stream there, we're going to be talking about the new phenomenon of super straight.
Hell yeah.
Super straight. What is it? What does it mean? And why is it the greatest thing since sliced bread? Because it is a counterattack in the language war.
Hell yeah.
And it is very, very effective. So
Straight pride.
we talking about that. BlueAnon updates. We got some updates on BlueAnon for you guys. Remember we talked about that last stream. I didn't think it was going to be a big thing. I thought we were kind of going out of the way by mentioning it on the stream. But turns out that it had quite the impact. And garnered a pretty extreme reactions by not only Urban Dictionary, but Google as well. So we're going to go over to the reaction to BlueAnon.
Hell yeah.
We're going to be talking about one thing that nobody else is talking about. I don't know why. Haven't figured this out yet. The massive, probably one of the biggest hacks in the last 2 decades. Microsoft Exchange hack that's affecting tens of thousands of businesses in the United States. And guess who is the likely perpetrator? You only really have to guess. I mean, you got a 50% chance because it's either Russia or China.
I'm guessing China.
That's not necessarily true. It could be Iran or North Korea as well.
That's true. They've got.
But
some
yes,
smart
this one
cookies.
has been linked to China, and we're going to be talking about that, giving you guys the cybersecurity perspective on what could be one of the biggest breaches of all time, actually. Rinse and spit, you two, yeah. The emergence of super straight, we already talked about that one, and finally, wait, did I talk about? Yeah, no, I talked about super straight.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's it. Oh, and the last topic I couldn't fit on the title of the stream. We're going to be talking about the media is dying in the post-Trump era, and we got some examples for you.
Okay.
And we'll see if some of our predictions maybe already came true with that.
Well, we always love being somewhat right on this channel, so.
Any chance we can get to point it out, you know we will.
What's up, Dari? How you doing?
We got Osis, Stalking Horse, MA, and Dari in the chat, you guys. What's
and
going on?
all the millions of others that haven't joined the chat either.
They're I can see them hustling in. They're
grabbing their popcorn and their Coke.
trying to look at their ticket to find out where their seat is. You guys know the drill. Let's jump into the intro and get started.
Yes.
Coca-Cola, because this is sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Coke.
All opinions are endorsed by Coke that you're about to hear. No, they're not. Please don't sue me.
Yeah, don't sue us, Coke. We love you guys, but you don't need to endorse us. We know that you want us to be less white. So.
What's up, Desai Enrico? I'm trying to be less white for what it's worth. So I'm not sure if it's working or not, because I need a marginalized person to tell me. I can't know for myself. Let's start off with a recap from last week. I want to do the BlueAnon first, because we'll warm up to the super straight thing, because that is absolute genius. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that.
Heck yeah.
And you guys are too. If you don't know what super straight is, you are going to
You're gonna learn today.
You're gonna learn. You're gonna have a little bit of a laugh too. Google and Urban Dictionary censor BlueAnon following widespread mockery of left-wing conspiracy theories.
Oh.
So we talked about BlueAnon last week, or no, Saturday, 3 days ago.
Yeah, 3 days ago.
And we mentioned how this is a really, really awesome tool in the kind of cultural fight against
use their language against them.
Use their language against them, hold them accountable to their own rules, things like that. So we're looking at the landscape, cultural and politically, and we're saying, oh, so you come up with a name for a group that you refer to as conspiracy theorists. Well, it's only appropriate that the left has its own name for the group of people who perpetuate conspiracy theories on the left, because we all know that Jussie Smollett hoax, the Ukraine hoax, Covington Kid hoax, Russiagate, Kavanaugh, all these hoaxes that were perpetrated, not to mention the smaller ones that we didn't gain as much notoriety throughout the last 4 years. But it's convenient. It's actually the best usage of language, because language exists to make communication easier, help you communicate ideas better.
Yes.
And the easiest and quickest way to communicate the idea that someone believes in left-wing conspiracy theories is to have you can't call them a conspiracy theorist. It's not precise enough. BlueAnon is the word that fills that gap.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it encompasses everything that we've been trying to say about the left.
Yep. It was highly effective, and we know it was highly effective because of the response that it garnered from Google and Urban Dictionary. So let's continue on with the article here from the postmillennial.com. What's up, Miles? The life of a new term, BlueAnon, in online Urban Dictionary, was short-lived. After emerging on social media and landing in a spot in the slang term glossary on Saturday, it was quickly purged. A Google search brings up nothing on the term other than brand name ski gear.
Ooh, okay.
Jack Posobiec pointed out from the deletion of Urban Dictionary, quote, "I've never seen or heard of a word being banned from Urban Dictionary before. The band BlueAnon." So this is what you would have seen. This is what you would have seen.
Seen? I think seen is
This
correct.
is what you would have seen if you went to look up BlueAnon on Urban Dictionary.
Sorry, we couldn't find it. It was there on Saturday.
Yep. And try one of these. Calganon, Tunchi. No, that's not what I'm looking for.
No.
Abuanon.
BlueAnon.
Those are the Islamic.
The Islamic conspiracy
theorists.
theorists, yeah.
So,
Got to give them their label.
basically, it got completely scraped from all Google search results. Let's pull up a side-by-side comparison of Google search results, and this ties directly into what we were talking about last week too, with Google censoring
in their algorithms,
algorithmic equity,
algorithmic equity and fairness,
algorithmic fairness,
something like that.
So here's another potential example of that algorithmic fairness. We don't think it's fair to call people BlueAnon for believing in these conspiracy theories, so we're going to censor the search results.
Hell yeah.
This is what you would have gotten if you search for BlueAnon
on Google.
Let's see. Let me open this in a new tab since it's being a BlueAnon Evo ski gear, wakeboarding gear, goggles, ski goggles, snowboard shop, dark blue Anon goggles. So nothing even closely relating to what we're actually talking about here, right? And let's look at the DuckDuckGo search results here. DuckDuckGo knows what's up. BlueAnon, first one is goes directly to BlueAnon.com, which you would expect to see in the Google if it was, non altered search results. Second one is a link to an article about BlueAnon, how it describes Democrats' nutty conspiracy theories. Obviously they're talking about Democrats being nutty. Definitely can't have that on Google.
No, absolutely not. Democrats are not nutty, and they do everything right. all the time.
Everything they say is correct.
Yeah.
RedState.com article. Red State. Gee, that's basically Nazis. We can't have that on Google.
Yeah, we can't have that. No
Daily
way.
Handle, an actual link to the Urban Dictionary
Okay.
article. So it's actual real results. This is why.
Should have just duck it.
Yeah, the Google thing, if you're just using Google now, and I found myself doing this up until a couple months ago, it's really just a matter of habit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a matter of, you're not actually looking at the utility of the search.
Mm-hmm.
Until I found out one day that I realized I knew what I wanted to find was out there, but Google wasn't giving it to me. Because, I have to do a lot of research for these articles and stuff that I talk about on the show. And we talk about some controversial stuff. It's not always on Google. So I realized, let me just try a different search engine because I know what I want is out there.
Yeah.
But it seems like Google's just not showing it to me, and that's exactly what the case was.
Mm-hmm.
So
Google doesn't want you to get smart, Jeremy.
I think Google's going to be riding off of the popularity that they had for such a long time.
Well, yeah, it's a culturally popular thing to just say, go Google it,
That's really exactly what it is. They have the popularity and the habitual use.
Mm-hmm.
Their usage and popularity is no longer based on the fact that they have good search results.
Mm-hmm.
It's shifted completely to habitual.
And people are just dependent on it.
And or that, yeah.
And I mean, in school we learned how to Google stuff, and we've got to change the way that we search stuff now because Google is just not dependable like it used to be.
So just duck it.
Just
That's
duck
the
it,
theme.
folks.
I would like to have DuckDuckGo as a sponsor. That'd be cool.
I mean, that would be pretty sick. I mean, we use them, and
Islamic super straight dudes, yeah. Let's see. We got Osis. Is this like Dragon Ball Z where we have levels of straightness? Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
What's up, Bill?
Bill's in the house. What's up, Bill? Use Brave for your browser and set the search engine for DuckDuckGo. Yes, that's what I do on my desktop. This is my laptop.
Okay.
So I still use Chrome, but use Brave.
Okay, so when I go home, I'm going to switch my stuff over.
Switch to Brave. It's basically Chrome, just not with Google's spying eye looking at everything you do.
Okay.
So this is how you know that BlueAnon was effective.
Mm-hmm.
And how this is how the entire banning cancellation process works, is that they will always go, the level of the censorship or the level of the anger is always going to be directly proportional to the effectiveness of whatever it is that they're banning. Think about the guys like Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos. Those are the only two people I can think of off the top of my head.
Laura Loomer.
Laura Loomer. All these people were highly effective at what they do. So now that we knew that rule, we've known that rule for a couple of years now. So applying that rule to this, we saw how fast they responded to the BlueAnon thing. That's how you know
that they're trying to do something.
They fear it. They know it's effective, and it is effective because it's catchy. It rhymes with QAnon, and it points out the blatant.
Tardo McGee says he still asks Jeeves. That just.
Does Jeeves even exist
I was
anymore?
like, does Jeeves? Is that even a website anymore? Like, I don't know.
Jeeves, the search results haven't updated in like 10 years.
Right.
So you're like basically going through a time machine if you use Ask Jeeves. It's like 2002.
Oh man, like I remember using Ask Jeeves when I was in like first grade. So.
Jeeves was a man.
Yeah, he was.
Duck it. I like it. Yeah, we got to make it marketable, Bill. That's what we got to do.
Just duck it.
Yes. Moving on to our next topic. That was a quick little update from last week. This one is... that's not the article I wanted, I don't think. This one is good because this is what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted. You guys have been paying attention to Joe Biden, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's really nothing to pay attention to because
Yeah,
he hasn't
not
been
really.
doing anything.
Yeah, he hasn't been taking questions from the press. He's been
He still hasn't done the State of the Union, which I think he's going to be setting a record on that one. And he still hasn't taken any questions from the press. We saw him in a mall today, a video footage of him in a mall where he was just talking to one of the shop owners or something like that. And then when reporters started asking him questions,
handlers grabbed him.
all the handlers were like, okay, time to go.
No
Let's go.
questions, no
Let's go.
questions.
No, they shoot them all out. They're literally doing like a Weekend at Bernie's thing where they try to shuffle him around and keep him on a leash. And they cut him off from the video feed when he was interviewing with Nancy Pelosi a few days ago.
Wow.
They just cut the feed. He was like, all right, I'll take questions now if that's what I'm supposed to do.
I mean,
And the feed just cut.
he's like falling apart in front of us, and they don't want us to see it.
So I say all that because people are starting to notice. And it's getting to the point to where even people like CNN, they can't ignore it. So this is what was trending on This is what was trending yesterday on Twitter. Look at the title of what's trending. Tim Apple.
Tim Apple.
So here's what they do. Here's the play. This is how CNN runs cover for Trump while still claiming that they're covering Biden and his gaffes. President Biden appeared to forget the name of his Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, sparking discussion about the time former President Donald Trump referred to the Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, as Tim Apple. They completely deflect right back on Trump. Like, oh, look, we know Biden was he forgot what the Pentagon was. He didn't know who his defense secretary was. And
he normally he doesn't normally know where he's at most of the time.
Yeah, but you remember the time Donald Trump said Tim Apple? Yeah, that's pretty.
Total deflection.
Donald Trump, guys.
Yeah, we got to bring it back to Trump somehow.
And yeah, the trending thing was Tim Apple, not Dementia Joe
or hashtag Where's Joe Biden.
Hashtag Where's Joe Biden. It's Tim Apple. So they're running. Okay. Now here's the question: are they running cover for Biden, or are they just still trying to feed off those Donald Trump clicks? Or is it a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they do want to run cover for Biden because they know he's a bungling idiot that doesn't know where he is half the time. And they don't want people to know that. They don't want the people that watch their stuff religiously to know that. And then also, too, they're not in a very good place. So they always have to link it back to Trump somehow because Trump, for some reason, I don't know why, people want to watch it. People want to watch TV when it has to do with Trump or watch their network when it has to do with Trump.
That's correct. I wouldn't be inclined to say also that it's a little bit of both. They have to run. They have an emotional attachment to Biden, and we've all seen how they've fawned over him in the media, and they play softball with him. And oh, look, Joe got a new dog. Meanwhile, bombs are dropping in Syria or whatever. Thanks for letting me talk to you, Joe. Yeah. How about Joe Potato? So we have some more information to help us decide what the answer to this question is.
Okay.
And we can see that the media is not really having a good time after old Trump has left the office here. And we're starting to see, you may have seen it today, Huffington Post laid off a bunch of their writers.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they got bought up by BuzzFeed, and then they laid off a ton of their staff.
Oh, well, that sounds great. I'm just kidding.
No, it is fantastic.
I mean, I think it's fantastic.
You know what? They can just learn to code like everybody else.
Yeah, it's true. Learn a real skill. And actually, like, if you're going to do media, be, like, truthful and honest with your media instead of lying.
From the Huffington Post, from the devil itself. BuzzFeed announces deep cuts to Huffington Post staff after acquisition. BuzzFeed acquired Huffington Post from Verizon Media in February. So they've had them for a month, and now they're just deep cuts. That's the word that they used. Deep cuts.
Super deep.
BuzzFeed announced layoffs of the Huffington Post newsroom on Tuesday, 3 weeks after acquiring Huffington Post from Verizon Media in February. Now, I do have to point out that it's not abnormal for a company to make cuts when they acquire them.
Yes, of course.
But this is part of a bigger trend. So it's not just a simple fact of, hey, we acquired you, this is normal business operation. No, they've done the projections. They know what the numbers are. They've seen the numbers since Trump left. They know what's going on.
Well, the reason they have to cut people is because nobody's watching and reading their crap anymore.
Well, that's exactly it. A deal between BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, and Verizon Media was first made public in November. And it's been a particularly grim year for the media industry. The coronavirus pandemic undermined a business model already on shaky ground due to a massive shift in digital advertising spend toward tech giants Google and Facebook. Layoffs across the industry were on track to break records late last year. What happened late last year? You remember anything significant happening late last year?
Biden.
The Donald Trump leaving office?
Yeah, the Donald Trump leaving office, yeah.
Peretti told staffers that a decision which will affect 47 employees, including 8 in management, was made in order to fast-track the path to profitability for Huffington Post, enabling the company to break even this year and eventually turn a profit. Huffington Post's losses totaled around $20 million last year.
Ooh, that's bad.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So 47 employees at a website that can be run by like 9 people. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that is pretty big. Arian says BuzzFeed's got funds to buy Huffington Post. Who the hell is financing BuzzFeed? Don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Could
look into it.
Yeah.
BuzzFeed is profitable though, unfortunately.
Yeah, because they just feed off of the the degenerate culture and just perpetuating degeneracy. I remember when I was before I learned that these media companies are garbage, I would consume BuzzFeed like it was absolute truth. And I was like, "Oh yeah, they make total sense." And now as I'm like seeing it, I'm like, "Oh god, these guys are just as bad as like everybody else."
Well, Tim Pool went through and made a nice little compilation of different companies that are showing signs of suffering in the post-Trump era. This is one from The Intercept. Since Donald Trump left office on January 20th, donations to The Intercept have gone down sharply. After years of steady growth, 4 years because of Donald Trump was in office, last month brought fewer new members than we've seen in more than 2 years. Similar trends are being reported across media and progressive politics. I wonder why. While Trump rallied against journalists as the quote, the enemy of the people, there we go. Got to make sure and blame Trump in there, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Just on the way out, they're still, as the boat is sinking and they're drowning.
It's Trump's fault.
Grassroots outrage over Trump's corruption, racism, and incompetence fueled a spike in ratings, subscriptions, and fundraising that became known as in the industry as a Trump bump. Well, hey, at least they completely acknowledge
I know, that's what I was going to say. At least they acknowledge that Trump helped them gain money.
Is that also a tacit admission that they basically kind of just blew everything out of proportion and they admit to really riding that Trump bump, you know, that Trump wave, and just really milking those social justice dollars?
I think that's basically admitting
it. Is
it.
it basically a tacit admission?
I think it's a tacit admission. They probably are not going to be like, "Oh, no, it wasn't just all Trump. It was because our journalists were so good too." It's like, really?
No mention of the journalists or how good they are. Ooh, okay, grab that one. Grab that super chat.
All right, we got a $5 super chat from, what is that? Sinner G-Force? I don't know. Biden needs handlers, especially because if some rando asked, "Senator Biden, do you even know who the president is?" He's not even claimed. He'd not even claimed to be. Yeah.
He would say he's a senator.
Yeah, he'd still say that he's a senator.
I'm Senator Biden.
It still hasn't like reached him yet that he's president now.
Thank you for that $5 super chat.
Yeah, we appreciate the $5 super chat.
G-Force.
G-Force.
I like that. I have a G-Force graphics card.
I do too.
CNN Primetime's ratings fall back to earth in first post-Trump week. So this was a little earlier in the year, as closer to the election.
Yeah.
We were seeing indications as early as January. NBCU cuts more than 100 workers this year amid restructuring. This is from March 5th, so just a few days ago.
Wonder if they can claim unemployment because of coronavirus.
The media conglomerate. Well, you notice how the last people also blamed coronavirus because of the marketing shift.
It's like, no, it's just you guys are garbage.
The media conglomerate continues to trim ranks as it shifts into a focus on streaming content.
Oh, now they're blaming streaming content, not just the fact that they're garbage.
From February 11th, Bloomberg announces newsroom layoffs.
Good, because Bloomberg is garbage too.
That's just your commentary on all these.
Yeah.
I name an outlet and tell you why, and then you're just like, they're garbage.
They are, yeah.
I mean, it's true. Actually, that's really the only commentary you need.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it out years ago that all of these media conglomerates are just all trash, just spreading the same nonsense. So
if you were to identify the biggest source of all the problems in America, for me, it wouldn't be the educational institutions. It wouldn't be the big corporations. It wouldn't be the government. It would be the media.
Yeah, media is one of
And when I say media, I mean like social media and mass media as well.
And like the legacy media.
They're probably the biggest contributor to the situation that we're in right now because they're the ones who amplify the retarded ideas.
They do, yeah.
They're the ones who reinforce the bad ideas, the ones that reinforce the lies, the ones that kind of direct the culture, that distract you from the things that actually matter. So I love to see this. I'm having a great time. This is why. Hey, cheers.
Yeah.
Everyone, cheers to this.
Yeah, cheers.
Media is drowning, and I couldn't be happier to see it.
I'm happy too.
And we did call this, by the way. We said that there was two paths forward when Trump got elected. And it's not like you have to be a genius to know this. Everyone knew this. The media outlets either can choose to go hard on Biden, which we now know that they're not doing.
Yep.
Or they can suffer and wither like this.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're whatever their overlords decided was it was more important to cover for Biden and not paint him in a bad light.
I just think it's hilarious that Trump was the one that kind of knocked them off their high horse after he got out of office.
Well, we also said that Trump was basically getting life support for the media because we were saying the media was dying before 2016.
Yep, they were.
They should have been dead somewhere between 2016 and 2020, but they got this huge 500cc shot of adrenaline directly into their jugular.
Yep.
And it just kept them alive for 4 more years.
Yep, because they got the biggest, white supremacist as our president, so we have to keep that lie going, and that's how we get people to click on our garbage is by spreading the lie and spreading the hate instead of accurately reporting the real news that's going on.
Stalking Horse says, whenever Kamala stands behind Joe when he's talking, she stands on a tape mark on the floor. I've noticed that every time that Joe's on video, which has been like 3 times in the last 3 months, he's giving a thing, and then Kamala's like way back in the left-hand corner. You only see her when the camera turns, when he's done talking, and he gets like stopped, and he's like, hey, "What did you say?" Because the reporters try to ask him questions as he's leaving, and she's back there, and she's just like sweating bullets, like just chomping on her fingernails, like, oh God.
It's like, what's he gonna do now?
All right, we'll just make it through. Don't ask her any questions. Let's just make it through.
Yep. Don't put any children in front of him.
If they have her on tape, that's funny. Yeah,
well, I mean, they probably do that because they still believe in the whole social distancing garbage, so they probably do that so that way they can be socially distanced while on camera.
It's all show.
Yeah,
the same reason they wear masks when they go up there.
I did theater growing up, and we would put tape on the grounds to learn our marks, so that's why they're doing it for her. So she knows.
I'll tell you one thing: Mike Pence never stood on no tape.
Yep, Holly, you're correct. That's actors placement for camera positions. So I think that it has to do with that, and also they probably like measure it out so that way again they can keep the lie of like social distancing and being a mask hole alive.
I think we should talk about that too because that whole narrative is changing, but I don't have it on the topic list. If we have time, we'll get to it.
Yeah, if we have a little bit of time, we might get to it. Otherwise, you guys have to wait till Saturday.
All -1, cultural subversion and active measures. Yes, the media is the one taking the most amount of active measures and subversion happening here. They're the ones on the stage, like, the magician who's doing the misdirection over here. Well, like, oh, hey, look at the Covington kids. Look at Kavanaugh. Look at this. And then meanwhile, they're like inflating the dollar and giving China the, whatever.
There's women and children being stolen out of countries, but no, let's focus on Trump over here because Trump's the evil one, but not all these other countries that have greater human rights violations than America ever will.
Publishing Insider. News sites show early signs of post-Trump slump. That's right, folks.
At least they admit it.
We will see a consolidation of media. The media is not dying. They won't die out, of course. We will see a consolidation. They will... It's going to be nice to not have all the Voxes and BuzzFeeds and Huffington Posts. Maybe a couple of them will die out, and we only have to deal with 2 retard outlets.
I hope that they get rid of Vox because Vox is just total garbage too. Like, Vox to me is like a pile of garbage that's on fire that people are like pissing on. That's how bad they are.
Jesus.
I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
Now, Osa says North Korea-style media here, unfortunately, and I was just thinking about that today. I think we're pretty much on par with China as far as our media manipulation goes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, we're not going to...
They're taking pointers from China.
We're not disappearing people yet. Yet.
Not yet.
But as far as our media manipulation goes, oh my God. I mean, tell me how Jake Tapper or Rachel Maddow or Chris Cuomo isn't the exact same thing as when you watch the Chinese news media or North Korean media and they get up there and with, they're all scripted and nice. They say, our dear leader said this today and, our future looks bright and America will fall. Our enemies, whatever, they just speak whatever.
They just say whatever's on the teleprompter.
The fax machine comes in directly from the White House and then he just reads it out loud.
Yep.
How is that? How are we not doing that here?
I don't remember who I was watching that talked about this. Maybe it was like Crowder when he was interviewing Alex Jones, and Alex Jones said this. He said, these people in the mainstream media, the anchors and stuff like that, if they didn't have like the teleprompter in front of them or a piece of paper in front of them about what to say, they would not be able to like give you the actual news and be able to actually like have a conversation with you about this because they are so like out of touch with what's actually going on. They just read what's in front of them and don't think twice about it.
Well, I was thinking about this as well, because I like to do critical thinking. It's kind of a lost art these days, but I was
Well, we're told not to do it anymore.
yeah. Well, I'm just a rebel, I guess.
Yep, me too.
I was using one of my techniques of what would you expect to see, right? So I look at a question. If what would you expect to see if the media actually wanted unity, if they actually wanted peace in the country, they wanted to inform you, what would you expect to see if they were doing that? And I thought, man, if media was actually doing that, what they would do is they would set up things like public discussions between two people, not debates.
Yeah, not debates, but discussions.
Yeah, just open discussions, and then that shows you both sides of an issue. When was the last time you saw both sides of an issue actually explained in a long form in the public, not on a podcast? When was the last time you've seen that? You don't get it in the presidential debates.
Yeah.
You don't get it in the town halls because those are all scripted.
Yeah.
There's ever any instance of any just open discussion, two sides, civil, no commercial breaks.
Yeah.
No sound bites, no scripted questions. Everything, it's when you realize that it's all scripted and there's never any open questioning allowed.
There's no free thought allowed.
Then you realize that it is really China style.
It is. It's super China style.
Because I was also thinking, tangentially related to that, why haven't we seen any of these guys like Ibram Kendi, Rachel D'Angelo,
these race hustlers,
the race hustlers, Sean King, any of these people who are all these new critical race theory books that you're hearing about now? These are the ideas from these people.
Yeah.
Ibram Kendi, Robin DiAngelo.
They never
Robin
get challenged.
DiAngelo. I don't know. I think I said something else, but Robin DiAngelo. They don't ever go in public. They don't ever have any public discussions.
Yeah, they don't ever
not even a debate.
They don't even take a public challenge to actually discuss their ideas in long format. Like I
went to a Sean King event in California a couple years ago. He doesn't even take questions from the audience.
Wow.
These leftists don't take questions from the audience, let alone actually have a discussion with somebody on the other side. None of them will ever do that.
Because they don't have the mental fortitude to sit there and actually.
Well, it's because their ideas are shit.
Yeah, their ideas are crap.
They can't defend their ideas.
Yeah, they can't sit there and defend their ideas and be challenged on their ideas. So they just shut it down.
Unless they're talking to someone who's also going to stroke their ego and also already agrees with the idea, they're not going to sit down and talk to them.
Of course not.
And then contrast that with guys like Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, the biologist from Evergreen,
Brett Weinstein.
All these guys on the right, they were more than willing to not only jump into a conversation about ideas.
They're totally willing to have their ideas challenged.
But they specifically say when they're in the conversations and in the live debates or whatever, anyone who disagrees, front of the line.
Yes, please, I want to talk to you.
That's how you know. I mean, without actually looking at the ideas side by side and trying to compare them, compare critical race theory with whatever that they're saying on the right, color blindness, for example. If you were to compare those two ideas, the color blindness or whatever the right is pushing inherently has more credibility simply because the people who are talking about it are actually willing to have an open conversation, open dialogue, and debate about it. These people over here, if somebody's telling you to do an idea, but they don't want to defend it or tell you why it's good or even have an open discussion about it, you can probably assume that idea is shit.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to the leftists, and their ideas are crap. That's why I tend to lean more towards the people on the right, because their ideas make sense, and they're also willing to have their ideas challenged and have that civil discussion. Whereas, like you said, the people on the left, they're like, no, we're right. No, you can't tell us any other way.
Some black guy, I forgot what his name is, and maybe the guys in chat will know. Maybe you'll know this black YouTuber. He's a conservative black YouTuber. He invited Ibram Kendi to a discussion, a debate, which is something that you would like to see on the news. Again, we have to remember we're talking about this in a context of what you would see if the news was actually trying to inform you. You would like to see a conversation between someone who is pushing the critical race theory, which is Ibram Kendi, and someone who's not. Ibram Kendi, guess what he said in response to the black guy asking him to have a discussion?
No.
He said, "You're misrepresenting my ideas, so I won't have a talk with you."
Okay, so if I'm misrepresenting your ideas, why not come and talk to me so that way you can properly represent your ideas in front of people?
Because it's not about actually misrepresenting ideas. It's about him being a pussy.
Yeah, it's about him being a little baby and can't handle the fact that his ideas are being challenged.
Yeah, so that's what you would expect to see in a news media that wanted to inform you, that wasn't just trying to subvert and propagandize. That's the kind of stuff you'd expect to see, and we don't see anything even close to that. So we all know that,
They're just,
it's exactly what Almighty once said. It's just active measures and cultural subversion. I saw a screenshot today from Good Morning Britain.
Oh God.
It was a fat black mother with a little black baby
Mm-hmm.
sitting next, just like me and you, and a white mother sitting with a white baby.
Mm-hmm.
The chyron said, "Is your baby a bigot?"
Really?
Think of the absolute retarded mutants that this news industry is going to produce in the next like 20, 30 years.
Oh, we've already seen
the 75 IQ idiot's going to be walking around in 30 years.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are already 75 IQ retards that live on the streets out here. So, it's not too far of a stretch to say that these kids that are going to be raised with this kind of shit they're just going to end up being total mutant retards that can't handle different ideas.
They have nothing without Trump. Yeah, that's right, Dari. They do not have anything without Trump.
Mm-hmm.
It irritates me that 47 jobs at Huffington Post are headlines, but the thousands lost from Keystone, not a word. That's a great point, Holly.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice, very hot point, actually.
Well, they don't want to bring up Keystone, and all the jobs lost with Keystone is because of Biden, and of course they're covering for Biden.
That in and of itself is an example of them running cover for Biden.
Yeah, I mean, how many jobs were lost because Biden shut down the Keystone pipeline? And he also made our relationship with Canada like on the rocks because it was like a dual operation with the whole Keystone pipeline. And
Oh, Trudeau was pissed. Everyone in Canada was pissed.
Everybody's pissed in Canada too because that's
Can't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that because we're not Canadian, so we don't know what the hell's going on. But with the Keystone pipeline getting shut down, the Native Americans will have their sacred land back. Even though like it's already been built on, so you're just gonna have a half-built Keystone, half-built pipeline in the middle of your backyard. Yeah, sounds like a great plan, Native Americans.
Speaking of pipelines, there was actually a giant spill in like Pennsylvania or somewhere. The biggest spill in like decades, and it's not even on the news.
Oh, I wonder why.
Millions of gallons in a pipeline spill in I forgot what state it was, but it's been happening for months, and they just came out with news about it.
Did it happen in the
Nobody
ocean?
heard about it.
Did it happen in the ocean or was it on land?
No, it was on land, a pipeline.
That's
over
probably
land.
why they didn't care, because when it's in the ocean and it pollutes the ocean, then all of a sudden people give a crap. But when it's on land, nobody gives a crap.
Robin DeAngelo. Thank you, MA. I got the correction there. Let's see. In Edward Bernays' propaganda, he lays out that the elite must control the thought of the people, and they direct society. Yes.
Of course,
Only
because they know
takes
better, because they're richer and smarter and more better
Just
looking than us.
6 idiots in a conference call every week dictating what all the news media agencies are going to push out.
Sounds great. Sounds like a recipe for a great and amazing nation to me.
I'd say I'm all for it. Just let them have more power. If you fall for that, then natural selection, that's natural selection right there.
Yeah.
You don't have to run from predators anymore, but you do have to be smart enough to not consume CNN every day. That's as far as I'm concerned, it's just natural selection. Joe Biden didn't take questions. No. Last time was when Russia took Crimea from Ukraine, and BBC had a fake-ass debate with a Russian man that kept interrupting. They literally invited him on to ignore him. Yeah, so that's about as close as it gets to anything relating to a discussion of ideas.
Well, they don't want to have a discussion of their ideas. If they really thought what they were pushing was true, they would have their ideas challenged. But they know that what they're pushing is just race baiting and race hustling, so they have to push it. Especially like Robin DeAngelo and all of these, and Sean King, even though he's not black.
No, he's whiter than me.
He's whiter than you.
And May says, I would push back on Jeremy with that. The conservative Inc. won't talk to actual fascists. As far as other rightists, they will only talk to other civic nationalists. The mainstream right won't even discuss diversity.
I mean, that is true. You're not wrong about that either, MA. And that's the problem with the conservative Inc. And they are in the same boat, so it's like two spectrums on the opposite ends.
I guess neither side is perfect, but at least some of the right is willing to debate people. They're selective about who they debate.
Yeah.
But it's a lot better than being absolutist and saying that I won't talk to anybody unless you fully agree with me, and I already know because I can research your social media page and see if you agree with me before we talk. 1984 Newspeak, where you have two ideas that are true but both negate each other, like women's rights and trans being real women. Well, we've got an update on the language war front for you guys that you are going to love. I'm sure you've already heard about it, but that is the super straight movement. I finally have an identity, a gender identity for myself that I've never, I've been struggling for years.
Gender identity.
I've been questioning for years all these feelings inside of me. I didn't really know how to describe them. It was anytime I try to talk about my feelings about my gender to people, I would get, questions and criticism, and they would say, "Hey, do you like chicks with balls and stuff like that?" I'm
Do
like,
you like
"No."
do you like chicks with dicks?
No, I don't like that.
Not
But
into
I never
it?
had. I couldn't figure out what my identity was until
Till today?
today.
Hell
It's
yeah.
finally. The happiness that I feel is it's just a huge relief. It's a
Just is it a weight lifted off your
a
shoulders?
massive weight lifted off of my shoulders.
Oh, good. The last thing I would want you to feel is not included.
Well, now I feel included.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to look at, let's first watch the video. This started on TikTok. Super Straight is I guess I should do a brief explanation non-sarcastically of what it is before we jump into it, in case anyone doesn't know. Super Straight is a language weapon that was developed by nobody with any particular political agenda. It was developed by a kid on TikTok who basically said, "I'm tired of being called homophobic or transphobic for saying that I don't like transgender women,"
Oh, okay.
which is basically dudes.
I mean, I don't like transgender women either, so.
Well, you would
I'm
be
a transphobe.
You would be transphobic,
I know
but
I am.
now you can be super gay.
Super lesbian.
So you only like biological women.
Okay, I'll take that title.
And yeah, that's now what we have here. So let's watch this short TikTok video of this kid. This is the creation of the super straight term. Oops. Struggling with the full screen here.
It's all good.
Yo guys, I made a new sexuality now, actually. It's called super straight, okay? Since straight people or straight men as myself, I get called transphobic because I wouldn't date a trans woman. You know, they're like, "Would you date a trans woman?" I'm like, "No, why? That's a female." No, like, that's not a real woman to me. Like, I want real woman. No, you're just transphobic. So now, I'm super straight. I only date the opposite gender women that are born women. So you can't say I'm transphobic now because that's just my sexuality,
Hell
you know?
yeah.
Boom.
Super straight.
That's what we need to do. That's exactly what I've been saying we need to do this whole time. This kid is a genius. I don't know if he thought of this, and calculated out the decision to make this or just randomly came up with it. But this is exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be using their own bullshit rules against them, saying, "Hey, you know what? No, my sexuality is defined as this, and I only like straight biological women. So you can't call me a transphobe because
you can't call me a bigot.
this is my gender now.
This is my
This is my gender, and as you all know, this is their rules. That but when you claim a gender, it means you cannot be criticized at all for that gender.
I mean, they have what is it, 120 genders now? So
Well, 121 now.
okay, we got super straight.
So I can't be criticized for only liking biological women.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So there you go.
Yeah, let's own it. Straight pride. We need to have straight pride, yo.
Super. And if they try to come at you for saying that you're phobic or anything like that, then they're super phobic.
Yeah.
So you gotta have the counterattack ready, right? Because they're gonna come against you and
Why
say,
are you being so super phobic?
they're gonna come against you and say, "Oh, why this is bigoted? Why? No, oh, are you super phobic? Are you trying to make a claim?
You trying to
about
question my sexuality?
Yeah, exactly. Are you questioning my gender? This is no, you're super phobic, man. Get away from me. I don't talk to superphobes. And Aryan super gay is a thing. Yeah, no, there's all kinds of variations of the super straight that are going to be coming
Yeah, they're
out.
super straight, they're super lesbian, they're super gay.
Personally, I'm probably going to be going for something like super straight athletic. I'm only sexually attracted to biological women who are not fat.
Oh, okay.
And it's not that I don't like fat girls. It's just biologically, my brain, that's how it works.
Yeah, my body is not attracted to the fat woman.
Yeah, I don't have any control over it. That's
Yeah.
just my gender.
I can't control it, just like I can't control my sexuality.
Exactly.
I love it, Jeremy. That's awesome. Super straight athletic. That's what you like.
Super gay is a thing. Yes, yeah, because she's super gay.
I'm super gay, super lesbian.
You guys can now. Yeah, the super flag is just a red or an orange and black lines. I don't know what the significance of the orange is,
I don't know either.
but this is fantastic for one of one of potentially two reasons. Like I said, there's two possibilities about how this came to be. Either this kid is aware of the culture war and he knows on the level that we're aware that this is a language battle.
It is.
And you have to use the rules against him and things like that. I would put the likelihood of that at low. I would say, and this is why this is great news. This kid is young. That kid was what, like 17 maybe?
Yeah,
18 at the oldest?
He doesn't look older than 30 at all.
Well, Jesus, I was going to say he's probably like, in his teens.
Yeah, probably.
But he's young.
But he looks Asian, and Asians don't get old.
They are timeless. Let's just assume he's like 16 or 17. I mean, he's on TikTok. No self-respecting 30-year-old is on TikTok,
It's
right?
true.
So this young kid, just randomly came up with this idea organically. You know what that means, right? It means our theory, or at least my theory, about what the new generation, at their viewpoint towards all this woke BS is that they hate it because when you're raised into something, you're probably more likely to want to rebel against that.
Yeah.
So if you're raised in, like, just for example, back when the Christians were calling everything immoral, and you're raised in like a Christian society.
And we saw a surge of gays and lesbians and degenerates.
You see degenerates, and you see people listening to rock and heavy metal and playing video games, because we all know that send you straight to hell.
That's immoral, absolutely.
Plays video games and listen to heavy metal music. But now they're born into this social justice sludge pit, so they're rebelling against it just naturally. This is an organic reaction to the sludge pit that they were born into. And that's why this is really great news.
Well, I mean, if you're an 18-year-old kid...
He's a Zoomer, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you're an 18-year-old kid going into adulthood and you are only attracted to the opposite sex and you're straight as an arrow and you're trying to get into the dating scene and all you're seeing is a bunch of trannies that are calling you transphobic if you don't want to date them, of course you're going to want to rebel against that. Like, I don't blame them. Like, I don't blame these kids for being like, oh, yeah, super straight. I'm not into chicks with dicks, not into, chicks that want to be dudes. Like, I'm super straight. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, this is the part of the story that people might be missing, and I try to keep a conscious idea of what my audience is in my head at all times. And I know not everyone's plugged into the matrix as much as I am. So if you're not aware of why this is significant, as a straight guy or even a lesbian like you, we would get called transphobic. We would get called hateful and bigoted for simply saying that we're not attracted to transgender women in my case, or transgender women in your case as well.
And trans men. I'm just not attracted to the trannies at all.
So there you go. See, that would be, we get attacked for having just general biological preferences.
Yep.
So that's why this is significant. And when I say attacked, I mean you will get removed off of dating apps if you even mention it on your profile, or if you say, hey, are you tranny or whatever, they'll ban you.
Yeah.
No questions. You're just gone. So it's kind of like a zero tolerance thing. And now we finally got some language war activity fighting back against
So now when you do when you're on a dating profile, I wonder if they'll have an option for, because you can pick straight, gay, lesbian, whatever. I wonder if they're going to have a super straight category. Because apparently if you're just like regular straight, if you're regular straight, you're attracted to trannies too.
Anytime I see... Well, that's the distinction now, because that's why this is smart, because they're implying, the social justice warriors implying
that if you're straight, you still like...
You're supposed to be attracted to transgender women. You're supposed to be. And when you're not, it's
because they are women, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, exactly.
They're so women. It's not like they have wangs or anything like that.
So, yeah, just to, not to belabor the point too much, but we want to make sure that everyone understands the full picture of what's going on here, because it's been something that we've had to deal with in the dating scene for some years now.
MA in the chat said, yay, Delaney, you're on our side. Absolutely. I wouldn't exist if it wasn't for straight love. Like both my parents are super straight. They're attracted to the opposite gender, so I have to love and appreciate straight people. I don't have any hate in my heart towards straight people, or I don't want people... I'm not that kind of gay that's like a predator and wants to turn all straight people gay. Like, that's not my goal. Like, if you're attracted to me, cool. If you're not, that's fine. I'll still love you.
She knows she's not normal.
I know I'm not normal. Absolutely.
If you said that to any of the people on the left that were gay, they would have a panic attack.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
At the simple mention that they're not normal.
Yeah. I do bring that up. I'm like, so what is normal and what is abnormal? And they always say, well, everybody has their own normal. And it's like, no, normal means what a majority of the people are doing. So is it normal or abnormal to be attracted to the same sex? It's abnormal. And there's nothing wrong with saying it's abnormal, because that's a definition of what abnormal behavior is. It's not normal to be attracted to the same sex. There's nothing wrong. But they just don't like being called abnormal because they think that means it's bad. It's like, no, it doesn't mean it's inherently bad. It just means you're not doing what the majority is doing.
Exactly. JC Steck puts it out in a statistic. He says 4% of the population identifies as gay, lesbian, LGBT, or
exactly. Like, I don't.
That means 96% or 95%-ish are straight. That means straight is normal.
Yeah, straight is normal. Straight is what most people are doing.
Getting banned off YouTube in 3, 2.
Right? Overlords are coming for us.
All while praising weirdness, total paradoxical behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to praise weirdness. I'm just going to live in my own weirdness. I never will push my weirdness on to the normal population, ever.
It's a war on normal people with brains.
A little
Pretty
bit.
much.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's why the system itself is entirely compromised from the ground up. So that's why you gotta get out, people. You gotta decentralize. You know, the buzzword that we like to throw around here.
JC Steck says, bye, nice knowing you. Before we get banned.
Yep, pretty much. Let's see. What did I have anything else to talk about on the super straight thing? Yes, I did. Just like now, super straight is a very effective technique, and we're seeing now, as I've been saying for a long time, that we need to fight back in the language wars. We need to use our own techniques against them. These are very effective techniques.
Yeah.
And what do we see that happens with very effective techniques? For people?
I don't know. Stuff.
They get banned.
Oh, yeah, they get
Do you
banned.
pay attention at all?
No, not really.
You got to get some crayons and take some notes. So this is what's apparently on, I don't know how TikTok works. I've never used it before, but there's a tag, the tag super straight. On March 8th at 8:55 in the morning, it had 9.5 million views.
Oh, geez.
A few hours later, at 1:11, it had 103 million views. This is just yesterday. It probably would have had hundreds of millions of views by now.
Yeah.
And then just today, guess what? In this morning, hashtag banned.
It's gone?
Completely gone.
Wow.
Yep, they deleted it off of the platform. Now remember, TikTok was I don't know if it's still owned by China, but it was a Chinese app. And
I think Microsoft
they
bought
are
it.
absolutely using these platforms to subvert you and to direct and control the culture.
Yep.
So when they see something like this, a highly effective language weapon that's used against the left coming up on their platform, they immediately have to cut the cord on that.
Absolutely. That makes total sense.
And again, we know that when they react in this manner, it's confirmation that this is an effective technique. So super straight is not going anywhere. A super straight has already had its own subreddit created with like 35,000 subscribers or whatever. So yeah, I'm sure that's going to get banned shortly as well.
Well, yeah, anything off Reddit, people just hate immediately, want to get rid of it. So.
Reddit is just a sludge pit
It
as
is.
well.
It's a total sludge pit.
Leftist sludge pit.
Wasn't it like, wasn't Reddit like super right for a while there?
No.
It's always been like super lefty.
The only every right-leaning subreddit has been banned off of Reddit.
Wow.
Donald Trump, r/the Donald, was the biggest like conservative subreddit. Banned.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, no, it's completely.
I mean, it goes in line with the language war. If you're saying something, then it gets traction. Just ban it. Like, just get rid of it.
This is exactly what we need to keep doing. I like this trend. I like the BlueAnon. I like the super straight. We need to keep it up. I'm definitely going to be calling people BlueAnons. I'm going to be calling people super straights. If I ever get a job application or whatever, and they have gender, I'm going to write in super straight. I'm doing it.
Yeah, write in super straight. Again, like, are they going to, on the dating apps like Bumble and Tinder and all of these dating apps, are they going to have like a super straight category and a super gay category and a super lesbian category? Because they have like 70 genders on the Bumble app.
If they have, that's a good point actually. Yeah, no, Bumble has a different genders?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just signed up for it, huh?
I had it for like a day, but when I signed up, they were like, "What's your gender?" And it was like male, female, and
so
then
it actually had all 70 of them on there?
it had like not all 70, but it had like at least like 30.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I actually have a screen recording of it because I was just like looking at it, I was like, oh my God, really? So I had to screen record it. I was like, really?
They had vapogender on there?
No, I checked. They did not have vapogender, so they're not exactly accurate. But
I feel like a cloud.
Yeah.
My sexuality is like a puff of smoke that comes and goes.
yeah, but they had male, female, trans woman, trans man, genderqueer, polygender, like just all these like.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
like, no.
Emma says they're already saying our identity is a hateful troll. Yes, they're superphobes. Don't take any criticism. Just call them superphobes. Just phobe. Call them phobe right back to their face. They got millions from the U.S. government. Oh, what did this guy say? Let's see this guy Core Rar and he's dropping some bombs in here. It's the beauty of it. The leftists can't even prevent the self-destruction. No, it's a death cult, man. We talked about this last week. The left is literally on a death cult crusade.
They're eating themselves.
And they want to, it's like a really slow version of, the suicide bombers and Islam. They're just not, instead of one big boom, it's a slow burn.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to take as many people out.
They're like slowly cutting their limbs off and just without any anesthetics or anything. They're just slowly just doing it to themselves and just feeding themselves to the rich willingly.
Oh, fat people hate. That was such a good subreddit, man. Oh man, that got banned so fast. It was literally just like memes and shit making fun of fat people.
Hell yeah.
It was glorious.
Sounds glorious.
And it was so good. They already. Oh yeah.
LGBTQIAAPWTFOMGLOLBBQ.
Yeah, it's all a joke now, and this is exactly what we need to do. You need to throw their own absurdities back in their face so they can realize. Well, they're never going to realize, but
we need to just like do LGB and then the TQRXWNMOP people just have their own movement because. No, most regular, like, non-mutant gays and lesbians are not with the whole trans, queer, polyqueer, genderqueer, androgynous, like, asexual. Like, we don't give a shit about that. Like,
well, here's the thing about the gender stuff. This is it boiled down in a nutshell. I don't know if I've talked about this enough before, but the gender stuff can be very easily explained. The reason they have to come up with all these fancy words and acronyms and sexualities and stuff is because, number one, none of them are sexually attractive at all.
Yeah, they're all mutants.
They're mutants who are trying to adapt to a system that is entirely based on still biological implications of attractiveness. And they're trying to adapt in that manner. But also, number two, these people have absolutely no personalities. They have no hobbies. They have no ambitions. They have no
skills.
They have no skills. They have no value to anyone outside of just being a sack of flesh that gets used and uses other mutants. It's all really very disgustingly degenerate and a sludge pit. I mean, what better word is it?
Pit.
What better word can we use to describe it other than sludge pit? You throw a bunch of fat, disgusting mutants into a hole, and they just roll around on each other, and that's what you're seeing right now. It's really all it is.
And then they're just coming up with new terms to make themselves feel better about just being losers.
G-Force says in chat, you ruined it. Now I feel sorry for them again. You should feel sorry for them. You should not feel angry at these people at all. I have no anger in my heart for these mutants.
I don't feel anger.
They're losers.
They are.
In the biological sense and in the capitalistic sense. They're losers all around.
Yep.
And I feel bad that they, they got mind virused. They got whatever kind of neglect, abuse, as they were a child, whatever their childhood was, it was awful.
Got fed crappy food that messed with their hormones and
single parenthood. I mean, there's so many variables going against them. It's literally just the universe. It's almost like the universe singled them out with all the variables going wrong, and now you got these mutants.
Well, you got these mutants that are just changing language to better suit their world and their ideology, even though their ideology is complete and total, just nastiness.
You got to give them credit. If you're an absolute loser like them and you're pretty much worthless, you're still going to fight back a little bit, and that's all they're doing really with all the gender stuff, the language wars. I mean, they've been co-opted. They're being used as useful idiots for the communism, but below that, I'm talking about biologically speaking, not even politically speaking, just biologically. They're just complete and absolute losers who are fighting back, and they deserve some credit for at least fighting back and not just killing themselves.
Yeah, G4 says crappy food, crappy genes, crappy environment. Yep, It's like the trifecta of just being a gender non-conforming polyqueer
Slime eels, yes.
polyqueer vapogender
Just a-
with anxiety and depression and gender dysphoria and all the like gambit of like crap you can throw at them.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's death cult is not hyperbolic in any sense. It's
Nope.
literally a bunch of maladapted mutants who are trying to bring down or destroy their competition.
Yeah. Well, and their competition is everybody else.
Exactly.
Their competition is everybody else, but they only make up like those kinds of people probably make up like less than 1% of the population, and they're just like they think that they can win the battle against the 99%. It's like, okay, good luck.
Well, the problem is that out of that 99%, there's like 85% who are just weak, but they want to placate to the loud people
Because they
who
feel so
complain.
bad for them.
Yeah, so what happens is now that we've gotten to this point where we actually take like the gender shit seriously, it's because weak people have placated to the complainers, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that once you control the women, the men will follow suit because they want to get with the women, so they'll comply with what the women are saying and thinking, and feminism, yeah, I'm a male feminist,
I'm a total male feminist.
that
and
kind of stuff. So you just get control of the women in the society, and then everything can just go downhill from
It's
there.
true. If you control the women, you can control
I mean, look
a
at
lot of people.
the Good Morning Britain thing I talked about. It was 2 women, 2 mothers, because you can't have 2 guys there. They're not
Yeah.
gonna-
Or let alone like mothers and fathers.
yeah, or exactly. And that's a great point. There was no fathers. It was just a mother
It was
and
just
a baby,
mothers, yeah.
and then a fat black mom and her baby. And is your baby a bigot? That's the kind of shit. It targets women because they're emotionally susceptible. The more emotional you are, the easier manipulated you are. So of course, the woman is always going to be the easy entryway into
Yes.
the destruction of any society. And then it doesn't hurt to feminize the men and completely demasculinize them, and then make them have to beg for any woman's attention,
Yep.
no matter how fat or disgusting they
Oh
are.
my God, yeah. Men need to have a little bit higher standards for themselves.
You know what we're living in? I was watching a review of Demolition Man
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
by Sargon of Akkad. Demolition Man has Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone. Oh my God, it's so good. They predicted 2021 almost to the exact T.
Wow.
They were actually a little bit. They were conservative with their estimate because the movie takes place in 2032, I think. But it's a perfect example. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. You need to watch it because it's culturally probably the most relevant movie out there today.
Cool.
And this is an older movie. It's like 20 years old. They predicted every single thing we're seeing now in terms of speech, in terms of people having their feelings hurt, in terms of people not respecting the police, the police not being able to do their jobs anymore, valuing equality and safety over freedom. It's all in there.
Okay.
It's all
I'll have
there.
to check it out.
And it's hilarious.
Okay.
It's kind of like a comedy too.
Well, I was gonna say Wesley Snipes. He has his funny moments, and same thing with Sylvester Stallone. My dad probably has that movie, so I'll probably borrow it from
No,
him.
it is. Yeah, Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, starring Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone. My God, what? I mean, there's been a lot of dystopian movies, futuristic movies that try to predict what life's going to be like in the future. Demolition Man is the closest one that I've seen so far. It's almost like they had a time machine. It's that good.
Athenian agrees with you. It's a effing awesome movie.
Yeah, it's just a great movie too. Anyway, I mean, it's it was kind of made to be an action movie. Don't look too much into the action scenes. It's not
Oh, yeah.
really.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
action scenes are probably cheesy as
It's
hell.
like 20 years old, but it's hilarious, and it's, my God, is it
And according
accurate.
to Aria, had Sandra Bullock's when she was super hot.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't help. I mean that doesn't hurt to have a hot Sandra Bullock before she got old and went crazy.
So I'd say that's your homework for this time, guys. The homework for last episode was to watch the new Silk Road, which was actually, I think, a recommendation handed down to me by Bill from All Minus One.
Yep, I watched that and that was a good documentary.
Man,
and I've been telling lots of people about it because people don't believe me when I say China's going to rule this century, and then I'm like, you need to watch this documentary. And also, like, how are they not? They're dominating us over here all the way across the ocean. So
Homework for this time is to watch Demolition Man.
hell yeah.
Um,
It's like, speaking of China,
Yeah, the three seashells, exactly. That's the inside joke for that movie that nobody will. What do you do with the seashells? Oh, they have machines in every single room and everywhere in the entire city of San Angeles because they like conglomerated Los Angeles and San Diego and all these other cities into one.
Okay.
So it takes place in California too.
Oh, okay.
Hilariously, they have if you say the wrong words or if you say a bad word, you get an instant citation gets printed out
Oh, so
and you get a ticket.
so social credit score a little bit.
Basically, yeah. So if you say I'm a super straight,
You'll get a ticket.
will just come out.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
So Tyler in the chat, he wants to know where do we find the new Silk Road? You can find that on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, give money to Jeff Bezos and he'll let you
Yep.
watch it.
I mean, most people have Amazon anyways, but if you don't, then and you're interested, then just do a 7-day free trial and watch that video and tell us what you think.
Or figure out how to use BitTorrent.
Oh yeah, that too. Just not hack it, but what's the term I'm looking for?
Pirate.
Yeah, pirate it.
Sail those seas, my
Oh,
friend.
yeah.
Sail those seas.
So yeah, like if you're interested in how China's going to dominate the globe, watch that on Amazon Prime Video.
Speaking of China dominating the globe, we have what could be considered. I'm not saying this lightly. I'm saying this as a cybersecurity professional who's worked in security for like 15 years. I have a degree in cyber defense. I have certifications. This could be one of the biggest hacks of all time, actually, and you probably have not heard about it.
I certainly haven't until like you linked it onto the Google Doc that we share.
There you go. I certainly haven't seen it anywhere, so I had to make sure and bring it up to you guys because we literally just talked about, I mean, we talk about China all the time, the dynamic between the United States and China. We talked about on Tuesday how India released information that they were the victim of a Chinese cyber attack that literally shut down their entire city of Mumbai. And we're coming into an era of potential conflict. They like to talk about conflict and the potentiality of conflict on the news and what's going to happen with China. China is our enemy or is our friend? We don't know. If there is going to be a conflict, I'll tell you one thing though.
It's not going to be on ground.
Yeah, no, it's not. There's going to be no tanks, no planes, no bombs, no nukes. Just some
nerd
some Chinese nerds
in a sweatshop of computers and internet access, just
exactly it.
just taking out their enemies via the internet and via hacking.
That's all.
Yep.
And with the recent hack that we're going to be looking at here from the Wall Street Journal, as I do some tech work in the background and stall out while I explain this because I have to open it in an incognito window, is in Microsoft Exchange. Now, if you don't know what Microsoft Exchange is, it's the go-to de facto email program that most enterprise environments use. Microsoft Exchange it's kind of like Gmail, but for companies. So everyone who has a big enterprise, they use Microsoft Exchange for their email. There we go, to the non-paywall version.
Yeah, there you go.
From Wall Street Journal, China-linked hack hits tens of thousands of U.S. Microsoft customers. And I had to deal with this with my clients last week.
Oh, no.
We learned about this. Yeah, my threat intelligence team learned about this about an hour and a half after it actually became public, and we had to respond immediately because this is
it's not a small deal, like getting hacked by China.
A cyber attack on Microsoft Corporation's Exchange email software is believed to have infected tens of thousands of businesses, government offices, and schools in the United States, according to people briefed on the matter.
Damn.
Many of those victims of the attack, which Microsoft has said was carried out by a network of suspected Chinese hackers, appeared to be small businesses and state and local governments. Estimates of total worldwide victims were approximate and ranged broadly as of Friday. Tens of thousands of customers appear to have been affected, but that number could be larger, the people said. It could be higher than 250,000.
Oh, wow.
Exchange is not a program that's used by an individual. An individual uses a program called Outlook.
Okay.
Exchange is an email server that companies use. So when they say 250,000,
That's like a bunch of different businesses.
they're talking about 250,000 organizations.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And they've said small businesses, governments, state, local, federal, large corporations. While many of those affected likely hold little intelligence value due to the targets of the attack, it is likely to have netted high-value espionage targets as well. one of the people said. The hackers have been exploiting a series of 4 flaws found in Microsoft Exchange's software to break into email accounts and read messages without authorization and to install unauthorized software, the company said, which basically means they can then do pretty much whatever they want with that machine. They can extract user accounts, files, stuff like that. If you can install a program, you can do whatever you want. Those flaws are known as 0 days among cybersecurity professionals because they relied on previously undisclosed software bugs, suggesting a high degree of sophistication by the attackers. Create your free account or sign in to continue reading.
They're trying to get those bucks out of you, Jeremy.
I'm not giving Wall Street Journal any money. But Proton Mail is excellent. Yeah, Proton Mail is a good private email for encrypted service. But essentially what we're looking at here, the news story is not so much this in and of itself. The news story that I'm trying to bring your attention to is the fact that nobody's talking about this. This is bigger news than the retarded prince and the princess or whatever
whatever his name is, and his wife with the Oprah interview.
Prince Beta Boy and the
his half black wife, half black.
That's not news.
No, it's not.
This is actual news.
Oh yeah, this is a big deal. Like you said, 250,000 organizations. That's a lot of communications to be hacking into and looking at when you're not authorized to look at it. So
well, remember, we are just coming off of news that China has been doing state-sponsored attacks on other countries. We know that they're attacking India. We know that they were involved with SolarWinds with Russia. Well, it's not entirely clear who the whole SolarWinds attack was by, but there's been so much activity in the last 3 months of cyber attacking stuff, and nobody's been talking about it at all.
Well, yeah, because it's not. They don't deem it as newsworthy, and I think a lot of people.
No, it's because China's implicated.
Yeah, China's implicated, and I think a lot of people don't understand this whole cyber warfare that's been going on.
Well, that too. That's actually a big part of it. Yeah, I would agree that cyber warfare is basically, the way that I put it is cyber security is like magic.
Yeah.
So you can't really explain this stuff to people.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm not trying to sound patronizing, but you don't understand. A lot of people won't understand. And if you don't think I'm kidding, if you think I'm kidding, go look at my video I did of debunking Mike Lindell's election hacking video.
Yes.
Oh my God. I went through very slowly, described with screenshots and examples and walkthroughs of why Mike Lindell's election hacking video was BS.
And people were just like...
People still just melted down. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
And it's like, no, I guess I don't, even though this is what I do for a living.
It is difficult to understand, and that's why this is our biggest risk vector as a country, because people don't know about it. There's no awareness. I mean, we raise awareness for the dumbest shit, like, raise awareness for
International Women's Day,
which was yesterday.
Yeah.
Black History Month, which was last month. I'm sure tomorrow's like Retard Day or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But nobody has any awareness of the number one way that this country will be destroyed when it gets destroyed, which is cyber warfare.
Yeah.
Now, Trump, to his credit, before he left, he did emphasize increasing cyber defense spending, and I haven't heard Biden say one single thing about it. I did hear him say, actually, that he was going to retaliate against the SolarWinds attack. He was going to retaliate against Russia, I think it was, for the SolarWinds breach, which was another massive, several thousand company affecting attack. But what does that even mean? He's going to retaliate. He's going to stop one of their boats from coming over.
I'm pretty sure Biden, he's in the camp of I don't understand any of this, so I'm just going to say what I think the people want me to say, hear me say, even though I don't.
Well, when I say Biden, I mean his administration.
Yeah, his administration, but he doesn't.
Biden is not a real thing.
He doesn't understand what's going on.
Biden is not a real person. He's just
he's a robot.
Puppet that gets shuffled around.
He's a robot, a little puppet that has his handlers taking care of him.
Let's see. The word leak is flagged by YouTube. Yeah, no, that doesn't. Later secret.
Yeah, good night secret.
Korea is the source. Is this true? Korea. Well, it looks like China right now, but North Korea has been known to. I don't know. When I think 0 day, which 0 day means, they referred to it in the article, but 0 day means it's a brand new hack that's never been seen. North Korea is not usually the type of people that are exploiting giant 0 days.
I was gonna say, they can't even hardly feed their own people, let alone
They don't underestimate their cyber attack power, though. They are.
they do. Instead of putting money towards feeding their people, they put all their money towards cyber attacking.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they are in the top 5. So as far as cybersecurity goes, it's always China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and I forgot who the 5th one is, but they're in there.
Okay.
With the top 5.
I mean, like, I guess they're investing their money appropriately for what their long-term goal is, which is to be dominant. And why not? Like, if they don't have a strong military, like, might as well boost up your cybersecurity network and being able to hack other countries.
They cyber attacked America in 2020. The cell phone glitch data that was blocked. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure, Holly, you're referring to the Huawei. I think you're referring to the Huawei. There was a lot of controversy around China providing all of our cell phones because they could put, chips or whatever surveillance they want in there.
Arian said, can you scroll up? He said, must be a partial shutdown. He's talking about Mumbai. Otherwise, I would have heard about it because they got distant relatives and living in Mumbai. I think it was like a 12-hour shutdown, I believe, if I remember correctly.
It was significant.
And it wasn't like it wasn't like a, week-long thing. I think it was only like a 12 hours. But even 12 hours of shutting the city down of their power, and they couldn't. And I think in the article they mentioned that Mumbai is like a really hot has a really strong economy, and so imagine like your lights get shut off.
Economic hub was the term
economic
you were
hub.
looking
Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
But yeah, just imagine like New York or LA getting shut down for 12, and we're talking like traffic lights. All their electricity went out.
Yeah.
So I'm sure some parts of the city had some backup power systems, but in general, the city lost power. Now imagine, this is the kind of where the imagination comes in here for this particular situation. China likely has already been in our infrastructure for many years.
Oh, they've been buying up property left and right, so of course they're invading our infrastructure.
Well, I mean, physically and digitally. I'm talking about digitally.
Oh, digitally. Okay.
They are inside of our power control systems, our hydroelectric, all that grid control, all that kind of stuff. Every time they do something like this, or even something that's an attack that's not as big as this one, this is a huge one. Even ones that aren't this big, they get a little more of a foothold. Just you have to analogize it with a physical thing because, again, people don't understand the implications of an attack like this. Imagine China rolling up on the shores of San Francisco and occupying everything on the entire shore, like 3 miles in. When you look at the big picture of America, it doesn't seem like that much. But if you're looking from perspective of what's happening in Bay Area, it's like, this is catastrophic.
Yeah.
If you're one of those companies that are affected, it's catastrophic.
Yes, absolutely.
This is, you're going to hear stories about them actually actively exploiting these in the next coming weeks. And you're going to hear some horror stories about how companies have had to publicly disclose breaches, pay ransoms for ransomware that's going to be installed, no doubt.
Yeah. I was going
things
to
like
say
that.
they probably have like Trojan horses and stuff on all their crap.
The stories are coming, and just know that a lot of that's going to be influenced by this. And here's the thing. When you're working with like a state actor like this, they like to, we call it advanced persistent threat in the industry. It's where somebody is in your network, but you don't know they're in the network, but they're in there for years.
Okay.
Somebody's just watching everything you do for years.
Oh no.
Just taking files out, watching all your emails, looking who you communicate with, how much money you're dealing with, what kind of decisions you're going to be making. If you have any intellectual property they can steal, they'll do that. And they won't do anything that will make them get detected. So how many organizations are China in is the question.
It's a lot.
And that's what I want you guys to think about because, again, every time, just think about it as waves on a shore. Every time a cyber attack happens, the waves get up a little bit higher and it goes a little bit more deeper in on the shore and eventually it's just going to flood everything out. So this is a lot bigger deal than you guys have heard on the media because you probably heard absolutely nothing at all.
Well, yeah, why would they cover something that's actually like a potential threat?
Why would you make China look bad?
Yeah, why would we make China look bad? They're just so peaceful and innocent and they love America so much.
Either way, they have so many telemetry data reports sent. They gather it. I mean, on top of that, they're gathering all the data from their phones, the Huawei phones, whatever. They're gathering all the data from their apps like TikTok
Yep.
Every single thing, every product they push out that Americans adopt, they're using that the same way that Google, Facebook, Twitter uses that to harvest your data. They're gathering everything about you. When you go over there and you want to visit, you get anal swabbed. They look at all the bacteria, flora in your gut bacteria, so they know exactly what you've eaten. They know what kind of diseases are circulating in your society. They know everything.
I don't want China to know so much about me.
Too late.
I don't want them to know more about me than I do. That's really scary.
Too late.
I know. But I think they know what I'm about, and they're like, oh, let's not bother with that one.
Well, that's the only reassuring thing you have, is that no one's looking specifically at Delaney's file.
No.
They just have basically
I'm not that interesting.
they have metadata, and they have, general overall stats for everybody. They don't. Same thing at like Twitter and Facebook when people say, "Oh, they're watching your cameras. They have all your data. They know when you poop." I'm like, nobody's actually looking at my file. But you're right. They do know when I poop. It's just an automated system that gives me the ads for that particular time. So that's the only relief you can get in that knowledge. Hover ghosting. I don't know what that is. What's hover ghosting? Either way, let's see. This is scary. Yeah, Holly. Well, hopefully that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to
let you guys know so that way we take away that fear.
It's all about awareness, right?
Yeah. If you know what's up, you can arm yourself and prepare yourself and protect yourself and to be less scared. And that's always a good thing.
Yet another argument for decentralization. If you're not on the grid, if you're not in a shared fate with everyone else living in the city, that's going to completely burn itself down if the power goes out, because people are going to be rioting, looting, violence is going to break out, police won't be doing anything, just like in Demolition Man. You don't want to be in that situation. You want to be independent, on your own, and sovereign to the best of your ability, which is kind of what I'm trying to paint the picture of here. Is you don't want to be sharing fate with people who rely on these programs, rely on these businesses to survive, rely on the cities that run off of all these. A city will shut down completely because the power grid or whatever it is going to be completely compromised by this.
I mean, yeah, totally.
Butthole SwabAnon. They incorporated Linux. Let's see. Yeah. This is interesting stuff, the cyber attack stuff. Jeremy would love your tips on how we can protect our online security. Well, it's a great time for me to mention my sponsor today, Fast VPN. No, I'm just kidding. Not like every other YouTuber.
Yeah.
Has,
Express.
Yeah, ExpressVPN. I actually use ExpressVPN. It's actually really good.
But they don't sponsor us, so.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about them.
Yeah.
Until they give me money, they're awful. But I do use them.
They suck. They're awful. We hate them.
The whole identity and things you like are tracked. Yes. Super anti-butt swabs. Hey, can't argue with that. If that's your gender, man, I mean, I can't criticize you for your gender choice.
Yeah, I'm super anti-butt swab too.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about online security. Oh, wait, what Holly said, they've developed a system that detects COVID in our wastewater. The bum swabs are coming next. Mark my words. Yeah?
Yeah, you're up in Canada, so they're going to adopt all that crap up in Canada.
Rar says the data makes money, so you are a slave. That's exactly right. All this, people don't think about that. They use all these products. They don't have to buy anything. They use Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You are the product. That's the thing.
Holly says, I'm okay with the butt swabs, only the tip, though. Just the tip.
Well, yeah, I think, it'd be cool to do like a cybersecurity night where I can talk about that kind of stuff and just do like a general Q&A because, I've worked with I have people's lives depending on the stuff that I do because I work with medical companies. I worked with anything from real estate companies all the way up flower shops, you name it. Yeah. I've worked with them. And it is fascinating. If you want to make a bunch of money, definitely get into cybersecurity because it's not going anywhere. I mean, you see it right here, people. It's not like a. This is just job security for me. It's not like a trend. It's actually like this is real life, guys. We need a line of defense, and we need strong people to be that cyber line of defense for us. Really, what I'm doing is I'm trying to pump the fear so that I can make more money. That's, in case you guys haven't figured it out. Capitalism. At least I'm open with my intent right now. It's capitalism. No, that's not exactly what it is. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. Did we have anything else to talk about? No, I think that's it. What about what did I mention earlier in the show that we should talk about? But the COVID stuff. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I do want to mention one thing from the COVID thing. We didn't talk about COVID at all today, really, but there's one question that I'm seeing asked online that I want to address publicly, just because I'm going to pretend that I'm talking to guys like Scott Adams who are asking the question of, if masks aren't effective, why do we see no flu cases at all from the last year? So the argument there is that the masks are protecting the flu that would normally be spreading. It's not actually spreading because everyone's wearing a mask.
Or maybe like we're just like people aren't going to the doctor for the flu because of COVID, because the hospitals and the doctor's office is like the worst place to go when you're sick.
Actually, you know what? I hadn't considered that. That's actually a really good point. There has been, hospitals are really hurting because people aren't going in for regular stuff. No elective procedures,
Not even like checkups.
Right, none of that kind of stuff. The hospitals have been just destroyed because people aren't going in for their standard money-making procedures. So actually, that's a great point. I want to add that onto what I'm about to say, which is that the blind spot here, for people who don't understand, is that hospitals are hurting massively, and there's an incentive. So the idea here is the incentive filter on the world. When you don't understand all the variables of a situation, all you really have to do is identify the incentives to find what the likely outcome or the likely answer is to a situation. So in this particular situation, the incentive exists for the hospitals to claim as many COVID cases as possible because they get reimbursement from the government.
Yes, they do.
For those cases. They get reimbursement that's directly correlated to the number of cases that they have. Not only that, and you wouldn't know this unless you've worked with healthcare companies, they get what's the word? The money.
Incentive?
No, they get reimbursed.
Reimbursement.
They get reimbursement for their employees working on COVID-related tasks. So they'll have their employees track time. That's this is the level of scrutiny that's being applied to this. This is how serious healthcare companies are about trying to reclaim as much money as possible from the government. They'll make their employees track any time worked related to COVID activities, so they can report that up and say, hey, look, these people don't normally work on COVID stuff, but they spent 15 hours a week working on COVID, so money, please. Money me. Give me the money a lot. Please.
We need our money.
That's really what it is. So every time now that we've identified the incentive, we can kind of, make an assumption here and say that every time a hospital classifies something as the flu over COVID, which basically have the same exact symptoms anyway, they're losing money.
Oh, yeah.
They will lose money for every flu classification that they get. And if you don't work in the healthcare industry, or you don't work with the healthcare industry, you won't know that. Because they don't talk about that on the news. They don't talk about how hospitals are being destroyed, how they're all hurting financially, how they're all laying people off. So you have to understand that. That's the blind spot that everyone doesn't see.
That makes sense.
And once you understand that, you realize that there is an incentive there. We all know, because we're capitalists. We're not retards. We're not leftists. We understand how incentives work. People will work towards the incentive. They will, whatever is incentivized, they will do. And the alternative explanation to that is that the masks are protecting everything that you would normally see for flu cases. I don't think that's a very robust explanation.
That's not good enough.
I think it's much more likely that hospitals who are desperate for money are classifying everything as possible as COVID cases. George Floyd is probably a COVID case.
Well, he had COVID in his system when he died.
That's what I'm saying.
So is that a COVID death?
Probably was, because that hospital gets $15 or whatever for claiming that he was COVID.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And that was going to be another part of my answer. It's like not only are people not going to the doctor when they get the flu, but also too, there's no incentive for classifying somebody that has the flu. There's none. But with COVID, it's like, oh, we get money if we classify it as COVID. And then also COVID and the flu have similar symptoms.
Almost the exact same
symptoms.
That's oddly convenient that COVID has just all the possible symptoms of colds, flus, general fevers, all that stuff could be classified as COVID.
Yeah.
And if you're saying, oh, but wait, here's the rebuttal. This is the argument. The counter argument to what I'm saying is that they would test you for that.
Is there like a test for the flu?
I think there is a test for the flu, but they do the COVID tests. The COVID tests are so incredibly unreliable.
Yeah, we discussed it a few streams ago.
And if you think that what I'm saying is false, ask yourself why there's still not yet a cheap and easy COVID test that you can buy from like Costco and take home and do every single day. Ask yourself that question.
Because they're not reliable.
Yeah, and also the positivity rates are based on, we talked about the variable cycle threshold rates, which is, they detect levels of the virus that are so low that you wouldn't even be sick from them. So you get so many false positives that it wouldn't even give you accurate data anyway.
Yeah.
So someone who didn't even have it so someone who's not even actually sick with COVID but has a little bit of the virus in there, could be counted as positive.
Yeah.
It's all a giant scam.
It's all a money ploy.
And I don't think it's irrational to use the filter and the system of identifying that there's an incentive and just assuming that that's the only incentive in the equation. That's what people aren't incentivized to identify flu cases. They're incentivized to claim COVID cases. So it's not a magical, mystery why we don't have any flu cases.
Yeah, the flu disappeared because of COVID. Nobody gets the flu anymore.
Yeah, right.
Says, does anyone else get local/state propaganda for COVID on YouTube? Yeah, absolutely. See it everywhere you go. Like the light rail that goes behind Jeremy, they have propaganda all over it saying like, wear a mask, do your part, wear a mask. It's like, no, masks don't work.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
Masks, social distance, and frequently washing hands the normal now. Frequent and proper handwriting is statistically as good as a flu shot for prevention. Hand washing.
Hand washing,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing with the flu is that I'm pretty sure the flu primarily transferred through contact.
Yeah.
Because that was what the narrative always has been, is like wash your hands and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't respiratory. It was through contact. But the level of contact that we're having has not decreased.
No.
We still touch the uncovered debit card machines at the store. We still touch the door handles.
We still like love and kiss on our children, which are germ magnets.
We don't tell people to wear gloves. I've never seen anyone wearing gloves in public, maybe once or twice, but I don't remember it. So you have to ask yourself why, if the primary transmission method was through touching and like touching your nose, that hasn't changed.
No, not
The masks
not at all.
don't stop that. The flu is not a respiratory spreading thing. I mean, I'm sure you can give it if I coughed in your mouth.
Yeah, if you like coughed on me or sneezed on me, then I could definitely probably get it.
Yeah, but it's primarily through touch, which has not been mitigated at all. So big question mark there too.
Pink tax? Nah, white tax now.
Well, you'd probably generate more money that way because white people are, well, we don't have to get into earning statistics. Well, hell, that's been refreshing. Ham and rape you is better than you being vulnerable with your... That's not right. Give us an update on your U-Haul van. I've got 1,520 watts of solar mounted to the roof.
Hell yeah.
And I'm working on attaching the 18-inch linear actuator that's going to motorize the entire tilting operation. So I have a giant... It's bigger than that can fit in this frame of this camera. Solar array that weighs about 300 pounds.
Jesus.
That's going to be tilted up and give me more solar than you've ever seen on any van. I'll tell you that much.
Hell yeah.
You've never seen 1,500 watts on any of those vans.
That's sick.
So that's where I'm at.
Hella sick.
In case you guys think I'm joking about all this stuff that I'm talking about, the decentralization and stuff, the regulars know. But the new guys might not know. I am building a tiny house out of a 17-foot box truck that I'm going to use to build on land that I purchased because I need to get the hell out of the city. As you see behind me, this is downtown Sacramento, and in maybe a month or so, when Chauvin gets off from the George Floyd trial,
Oh, it's going to be
they're going to burn this whole thing down.
Yeah, they're going to
So,
freaking riot.
I got to get out of here. I got to have somewhere to go. And long term, these things are dying anyway. These things being the cities. So
These entities.
I'm not just talking the talk here on YouTube. Talking about stuff. I'm actually walking the walk. What's up, J-Ma? Welcome.
Yeah, and if you want to see his tiny home conversion, he has a separate channel for that. It's called Techno Barbarian. Check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. I even watch it, because I'm interested.
I even watch it.
I even watch it because it's interesting.
I meet your standards. No, you know what? Here's a great comparison for YouTube to know that, because I talk about how we're shadow banned by YouTube all the time, right? Yes, the van thing is definitely more popular of a topic than cultural and political stuff, but cultural stuff does have a big audience on YouTube still. I've gotten 500 subscribers with 4 videos on that channel. Just completely organically, never did one single thing but upload the videos.
Yep.
500 subscribers, and I'm over 20,000 views
Jeez.
already, and that's like probably 20 times as much as every podcast that we've done so far. And I've only lost subscribers on this channel. And we're talking about, trending stuff, like Super Straight, stuff like that. But that's the difference between a shadow banned YouTube channel and a fresh, unadulterated YouTube channel. Topic interest aside, the growth is just astronomically different. Just for
G4 says, "Damn, y'all are in Sacramento pouring one out." Yes, please do for us.
Yeah, no,
Please
we
do.
need it. All the source of all the evil is about 3 blocks that way.
Yep.
The capital itself. Let's see. What we were just talking about the COVID, and then what was there was one more thing I wanted to talk about after the COVID. What were we just talking about? COVID, and then I went to something else. Maybe there's something in chat. The mask prevents AIDS. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, did you see what Fauci said?
What did
Fauci came out and he said, "I have never in all my days seen a more politicized pandemic." It's like, bro.
You're the one that did that.
Exactly. Are you the same Fauci that went on Rachel Maddow and you're like, "Oh, I love your show. I've been waiting so long to come on here."
Oh my God.
And but
He's such an idiot.
here's the question I have for Fauci on that one. If we're talking about how bad it is that this pandemic is politicized, tell me why you, Mr. Pandemic Master, Grand Wizard, have never ever suggested once for people to lose weight, which is the number one risk factor for adverse reactions to COVID. I don't think adverse reaction is the right terminology, but you know exactly what I'm saying. For really bad hospitalizations, it's only fatties and like 80-year-olds, right? We all know that. He's never said once to lose weight, to not be obese.
Yeah, no smoking.
And you have to ask yourself, okay, well, why hasn't he ever said that?
Because it's not politically correct.
It's not politically correct. So Mr. "Oh, I've never seen a more politicized pandemic" is literally probably, if you want to go as hyperbolic as the left loves to go, you can just say, he's killed people. Fauci has killed people
with his bare hands.
Because with
his bare tiny hands.
His tiny bare hands, because he has never told us to lose weight, which is the number one risk factor for hospitalizations and deaths.
Yeah. Because it's not.
Never once because of political correctness. "Oh, this is the most politicized pandemic." Get the hell out of here,
It's like,
dude.
you're the
What a
one that
joke.
you're the one that politicized it, bro. Like, what is your problem? Over here, like, beginning of the pandemic, masks don't work. In the middle, like, month later, oh, masks do work. And then
Well, see,
in telling businesses to enforce mask mandates and like make it all political.
we don't even have to get into the whole flip-flopping and the hypocrisy and all the bullshit that he was talking about with masks, no masks, and all that kind of stuff. You don't even have to go that far. All you have to do is say, why have you never told us the number one risk factor being obesity, which we all knew from, day one. You just didn't want to say it. Why didn't you ever say that? Because of political correctness that you were following and your handlers were following. When you go on Rachel Maddow, do you think Rachel Maddow, "Oh, Cam, I'm so happy to be on your show"? That's what he said. He's like, "I've been waiting to get on your show for so long." And not one mention. Do you think Rachel Maddow would let him talk about how obesity is the number one risk factor?
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
All the fatties are watching her.
Exactly.
All the fat, green-haired lesbian with bull septum rings. Those are the ones watching it, and so of course she's not gonna let him say, "Oh yeah, if you're a fatty, you're probably more at risk of getting COVID." No, she's even though she's a fucking psychopath, she's still very smart. So.
Oh man, yeah, no. G4 says he's in Houston. Well, guess where I'm headed. We've had a few viewers from Houston actually.
Texas, baby.
I got some friends in Houston. I'm likely moving there in a few months. Houston bound.
Houston, Texas, baby.
Just be warned, if you watch my van conversion video, you're going to get a lot of recommendations on box truck conversions and stuff.
Good.
And PETA would gladly kill all the cows on Earth to save them.
Right?
To save their...
Well, yeah, that's something that I...
Block the butthole to save the Earth. I mean, it sounds stupid, but that's exactly what they're saying.
That's what they want.
Cow farts.
Even though we can harness the cow farts and turn it into power, but we don't want to do that.
Fauci is a glorified actor. Yeah, well, I mean, that's why he gets paid so much. I think he's the highest paid public employee in the country. Last fact check me on that one, guys, but I'm pretty sure Fauci is the highest paid government employee. He gets over like $400,000 a year to just walk around and say,
Is that
Rachel Maddow, I'm so happy to be on your show.
More than what the president makes.
Oh, that's like double what the president
Yeah,
makes.
the president doesn't make very much money, and here's this guy just going around spreading lies and being stupid, and he gets paid all kinds of
Well,
money.
it's because he's been there for like 50 years.
Yeah, I think he was appointed by, I believe, Bill Clinton, if I'm not mistaken.
So when you're in that long, I mean, you know, it's just,
You put in the time, you get all that money, even if you're a total fucking retard mutant that isn't honest.
Houston is full. It's a mini LA. Yeah, no, I know. I visited there. I visited there quite a few times in 2020.
He's like, no, don't come here. We're full. We don't want you. We don't want your kind
for,
here.
for being full, they have a lot of very cheap empty houses. I'll say that. Fauci made a few thousand more than the POTUS. They're both 400,000. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
President. Okay, the president makes 400,000. Okay, so I was wrong on the president number.
was
Fake
like-
news. Fake news. I thought the
I was
president
gonna
made
say,
like.
I'm pretty sure the president gets paid 400, but I could
I
have
thought it
been.
was like 250, but I don't know.
Well, in my opinion, the president doesn't get paid enough. Well, actually, with Joe Biden as president, I think we should dock his pay and like make sure he doesn't get paid at all because he's not doing a good job. But that's just me.
He gets his pass because he studied AIDS at the bathhouses of San Francisco.
Oh, he studied it personally, very personally.
Oh man, you guys are great.
Yeah, this chat is awesome. We love you guys.
Looks like we need a new fan here, the Core Rar.
I think he's loving us.
I remember hearing that. Yeah. Doesn't the president donate his earnings? Yeah. Oh wait, no, that was the bad guy.
Yeah, that
Right,
was
right.
that was the best president.
I think he donated his earnings to the like a veterans foundation or
Yeah,
something.
he
like
would
that.
donate his
VA?
he would donate his paycheck to different organizations every time he got paid. He told the press, he's like, I don't take the check. He's
Oh,
like,
actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to get an update from you guys because I have been tracking this very closely. But is Trump a trillionaire yet?
no, I thought he lost money when he became president.
Well, we were told 50,000 times that he was only being the president to get financial gain for his businesses. So I just want to get an update on that. You know, like has he bought
Yeah.
the country yet? Can you purchase the country?
I mean, you can purchase an island.
Has he made like has he made his own social media company yet? Or I mean, he should do that. But I'm just, is he a trillionaire yet? That's really want to know because
That's what they told us.
50,000 people told me 50,000 times each for a grand total of 2.5 million that he was the only president to get rich.
Yep, because a guy who's a multi-billionaire becomes president and takes a pay doc just because he wants to get super rich. That makes total sense.
It's not consistent in my brain, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing an update, you know, that he didn't purchase the country of Greenland or something like that. And
I mean, these leftists will make you believe that, but in actuality, like I said, Trump actually lost money. He lost net worth when he became president. So
yeah, no, I'm being extremely hyperbolic.
I know
in
you
case
are.
You guys didn't notice,
And it's cute.
because it's hilarious. That argument was just so fun to watch. You don't have to get rich
Yeah.
as he's like losing money. His companies are dropping in value.
well, people like stopped buying his product and stopped going to his hotel because they're like, oh, I don't want to be associated with that racist, even though he's really not. So
He's the first quintilionaire.
no, that would be the Rockefellers.
You guys rock. Thank you, MA.
Yeah, we
We're
love you,
trying.
MA.
Hey, this is our 46th straight podcast, and each one has been about 2 hours long. Do the math. We haven't missed a single day.
Yeah.
46 consecutively, twice a week. Got to give you props for that.
Yep. I mean, I'm pretty proud of myself.
You should be. It's not easy to do live streams twice a week for, I mean, like 5 hours of live content a week. It's not easy. It's not that hard to convince a low information crowd who can't fathom that amount of money. Yes, low information. That's the key word there, Dari. Good point. The power. Okay. Oh, yeah. So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna wait till they get the power situation figured out in Houston before I move there because I don't want to have any pipes bursting or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't want to have to worry about not being able to drink clean water when the power goes out.
Yeah. See, nobody wants to talk about how Trump actually sacrificed to be president.
Yeah, he
It wasn't a step up for him.
It was a step down.
It was a step down.
It was like a
Why
couple
would-
steps down, actually.
Why would you invite somebody to dig up every single thing out of your background your entire life, dig up all the dirt, have trash talked about you for 4 years straight, every single day, 90% negative media coverage, have your family ripped apart, people talking trash about your son
Yeah, your
wife?
your underage son.
who didn't do anything?
Yeah,
They're totally innocent.
they talk crap about Melania's accent, but they don't even like take into consideration that she speaks 5 languages, and considering she speaks 5 languages, her accent is pretty dang good.
People don't. They don't. I mean, probably half the country does recognize the sacrifice that he made, but it was truly a sacrifice.
It
That's how it
was.
should be looked at.
And that's why I love the guy. Even though he puts his foot in his mouth, I still have an appreciation for the guy because he actually did make a sacrifice. He took like 5 steps down from the power that he had. Do you like honestly? These people are so delusional. They think that the power of the president is like this all like holy power, like he can do whatever he wants. And it's like, no, actually, you kind of have more power as a business owner, as a corporate leader, than you do as the president of the United States.
Probably.
I mean, in my opinion, you have a lot more freedom and a lot more ability to move up in the world.
More freedom and less scrutiny.
And then as a president, you are under the microscope. You can't do anything without people criticizing you or hating you for just doing what you think is best for your country.
So the point I'm making by bringing that up is that until he becomes a trillionaire, or if he becomes a trillionaire, then you can take it back. But for now, you have to acknowledge that the dude did make a sacrifice, even at least just in a monetary sense. He did not become the president to make money.
No, absolutely not. I mean, if anybody got rich off of becoming a president, that would be Barack Obama. Barack Obama, before he was president, he was a nothing. Then he became president, and now he's like a multimillionaire. Oh, I'm pretty sure he's probably close to a billionaire by now. He owns like shares in Netflix. He's doing like book deals, speaking tours. Barack Obama.
Oh.
Yeah, that dude went from.
Oh, yeah.
That
no,
dude, like, if anybody was the power and money hungry person as a president, it was definitely Obama.
I don't know about money hungry, but that would require a little bit of mind reading. But your point still stands: is that these people come in with this amount of wealth, and then they leave with this amount of wealth, and that gap cannot be made up for entirely by the salary that they make. So you got to ask some questions, like the $750,000 speeches and stuff like that they're giving. So
Well, and he has like book deals, and like I said, I think he's like a partial owner of Netflix. So he's like all of the propaganda that Netflix pushes out and like pro-Obama stuff that they have on Netflix. It's all his doing, just to like make people.
So he's like a big shareholder in Netflix.
I think so, if I remember correctly.
I didn't know that. Wouldn't surprise me though.
He's like a really big shareholder.
One fun thing that we can mention on the way out here, because we're wrapping it up, but Disney. There's more names to put on the cancellation list.
Oh, yeah.
And I am still working on the Cancel Cash website, by the way.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty close to development. So I'm also developing on the side when I'm not building my truck, when I'm not running the podcast, when I'm not doing my day job.
He's not doing 50 million things.
Yeah, I'm building a site. It's going to be called Cancel Cash. And it's going to be just a list of every single person that gets canceled with the reasons why they got canceled. But then most importantly, links to where you can give them money. You can buy their albums, you can buy their books, you can do, like, the point is we want to try to make cancellation profitable, right?
Hell yeah.
To de-incentivize it from the mutants using cancellation. So,
we're gonna add a couple things to the list now. So
yeah, we're gonna add
Dumbo and Peter Pan
and
Pepe Le Pew,
Speedy
Gonzales.
Speedy Gonzales is getting banned, and there's one more, Pinocchio.
Pinocchio is getting banned.
I'm pretty sure Pinocchio is getting banned too. So some of those Disney ones like Dumbo and Peter Pan, they're being removed off of Disney Plus Kids.
Wow.
So the kids can't watch it anymore.
Okay.
It's adults only. Huh. And it comes with like an adult.
Has like a TV 14
it has like a disclaimer or whatever on it.
It's like there might be some disturbing images on here.
They upgraded the rating to like TV mature.
Yeah. For Dumbo.
That's the world we live in.
Oh my god.
That is literally a Demolition Man world when you have to have a warning on Dumbo.
Right? Oh my god. You have to have a warning on Peter Pan. Jamon wants to know what's up with Dumbo.
Dumbo has represents minorities incorrectly or something like that.
Something stupid. And you
Yeah.
watch them. Oh, of course.
I'm sure you could find a real source if you wanted to look it up. But let me just do a quick search on Google for Dumbo here, and then news. I like Dumbo.
I like Dumbo too. It's cute. The part where Dumbo's getting like cradled by his mom in the cage always makes me cry.
Okay, here we go. New York Post. Disney Plus prevents kids from watching racist classics, including Dumbo.
God, everything's racist now.
This world is so soft and pathetic. It's hilarious. More like Disney minus. Months after flagging classic flicks over stereotypical portrayals, Disney Plus has now decided to go whole hog and drop several of the once loved, now controversial titles from their kids' menus.
Oh no.
Per the initiative, children under 7 will be forbidden
Forbidden? Like not
watching-
even allowed even with parental consent?
from watching
They're
Dumbo.
just going to go on their parents' profiles.
Well, and I mean, they could just pull up Twitter and see content that's 1,000 times worse online anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
oh God.
Dumbo, Peter Pan, Swiss Family Robinson, and the Aristocrats.
The Aristocats.
Aristocats. See, you can tell I've never watched that one.
I like that one. It's cute.
They cited Dumbo's infamous singing crows, which, quote, pay homage to racist minstrel shows.
What? Oh my God, they're crows.
Where
They
white,
are
white performers with blackened faces and tattered clothing imitated and ridiculed enslaved Africans on southern plantations.
Do these people not realize that like this is like fantasy and that they're crows and that Dumbo's like an elephant?
No, mice actually sing and dance with
Oh,
crows.
okay. I didn't know that. I thought that that was just fun.
Wow, 1941. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
that's old.
Dumbo is like one of the oldest.
The leader of the group in
animated
Dumbo
movies.
is Jim Crow, which shares the name of the laws that enforced racial segregation in the southern United States. Peter Pan and Swiss Family Robinson were axed, meanwhile, for the negative portrayals of Native Americans.
Even though it's not really negative. Like, how is it negative in Peter Pan? The Native Americans were nice to the children. And they like danced with them and had fun with them and took care of them.
There's no logical explanation here. So what this is they are getting ahead of the tidal wave of retard mutants who are going to come for them eventually anyway. So they're just nipping it in the bud. Disney doesn't actually think that, well, maybe there's some mutants at Disney that think that, these are actually racist, but the point is they're trying to, they're getting rid of their vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. And eventually they're because they just came for they came for Pepe Le Pew and the Speedy Gonzales. They're looking at cartoons now, and Disney is just like, hey, do we have any cartoons that could be considered racist by these retards? And they was like, well, yeah, I know in that Dumbo movie there was the crows, and we had the Indians in that one movie.
Yeah. And then you have an Aristocats. They have a portrayal of a Siamese cat playing chopsticks on the piano. Can't have that, even though Siamese are technically freaking Asian cats. They come from Asia.
It's terribly stupid, but I have to admit I'm having a fun time watching it happen.
Holly says, Little Mermaid, the Jamaican crab. Oh, they're gonna come after Little Mermaid too because they can't have a Jamaican man voicing a crab.
Yep.
Well, it's just the same thing that they're going after white voice actors who are portraying black characters. Like these white actors are like stepping down from being voice actors for black characters now, and they're like, they're like, we're so sorry, I didn't mean to be culturally insensitive. And the same thing that they're doing like with actors in movies, like straight or cisgendered people or just regular males and females will portray trans people instead of hiring trans people.
No, you can't do that. I mean, Scarlett Johansson was going to play a trans woman, and then she got yelled out of the role. She lost a role because the mutants yelled loud enough.
They're going to have to remake a Boys Don't Cry without Hilary Swank because Hilary Swank isn't a real trans man.
Well, there was also Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, with the black chick playing.
They made a black Queen Elizabeth. Tell me how that makes sense. Like, I think we need to remake. What was that movie? We looked at the screenshot with that one white actor from Blade Runner. Who's the main guy in Blade Runner 2049? The hot guy that everyone loves.
Harrison Ford?
No.
No.
Well, yeah, but
that's
no.
the original. I haven't seen 2024. So
the guy he's in Drive, the movie Drive. He's in all the chick flicks. The chicks love him. But anyway. Just do like a Malcolm X video or movie with
put him in
with
there.
a white guy instead.
Oh, we should do that.
Or MLK movie, MLK movie with a white guy.
Oh wow, that would be awesome
That
to just
is
watch
what
the
we should
meltdowns
do.
happen.
Yes.
Take their history and whitewash it like
Yeah,
they claim Hollywood has been doing.
Just dump 10 gallons of bleach all over the whole
They
thing.
sit there and claim like Hollywood's so white, and then they come in and they'll like trade out white culture with black people and be like, oh, but this is fine because Hollywood's so white. Just is so stupid.
Equal representation.
Equal representation, even though it's not historically accurate at all. Like these people are going after
Gyllenhaal?
crows.
No, I wasn't thinking Gyllenhaal, but Gyllenhaal would work. Ryan Gosling. Thank you. Yes,
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling. Yeah, just make Ryan Gosling MLK.
Ryan Gosling, Malcolm X.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
How amazing would that be?
That would be so amazing. Just
Black Queen Elizabeth. We can do a Ryan Gosling MLK. I think that's reasonable.
yeah,
It's
totally.
a reasonable trade-off.
I mean, if they are allowed to do it, why can't we?
Exactly.
If we're going to go for fairness and racial equity as they are wanting, as they say that they want, we should be able to do that without like a backlash or the threat of being canceled.
Yes, exactly. Just, just some suggestions we can throw it out there. If any of you guys happen to become in like a casting director role for movies, just floating my idea out there. Might become reality someday.
Yeah, but I don't think the legacy media companies and the legacy movie companies are going to fund that. So it would have to be all independent.
Yeah, probably.
Well, because the legacy media and the legacy movie production companies, they're on that woke brigade nowadays. I mean, they're freaking canceling their own stuff. So
Yeah, movies are all trash these days. It's really unfortunate because I'm a movie guy. I love movies, but there's nothing good. But there's Godzilla's coming out this end of this month. Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, it's going to be terrible, but
It's probably
it's
gonna
still Godzilla. So all the Godzillas are terrible, but awesome at the same time. And then Mortal Kombat's coming out next month too.
yeah.
New Mortal Kombat movie looks really good. But again, your guys' homework is to watch Demolition Man. Okay, so by Saturday, watch Demolition Man. Trust me, you'll love it. You'll definitely appreciate my recommendation on that. If you enjoyed the stream,
I mean, I enjoyed it.
I loved it too. Matt Livingston says, thank you for sticking to your podcast schedule. You guys got what it takes to make it to the top.
I mean, at least somebody believes in us.
46 in a row on schedule every single time. Maybe 5 minutes late on one or two.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we were even in Reno, and we still made our schedule.
even when we travel. If you want to listen to the podcast version, you can. We are available on podcast platforms, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. We do Stereo Saturdays now. We're going to do Stereo Saturdays where I'll be here on live on YouTube by myself, and then Delaney will be remote doing stereo.
Yep,
Stereo,
in my pajamas.
Stereo is like Clubhouse, but it's where the normies can actually access it, because the normies can't get into Clubhouse yet. It's invite only. So we're doing stereo until we can get on Clubhouse.
Yeah, and stereo is cool because you guys, if you are listening on there, you guys can send us voice memos and contribute via voice if you feel up to it.
We took voice questions from some random viewers. It also expands our audience onto the stereo platform as well. But the voice questions is really cool. It really adds a new dimension of interaction with the audience, which is what we're looking for. If you're listening on the podcast, join us live on the YouTube streams Tuesdays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. PST. Interact with our wonderful chat.
Yep.
You might hear us interacting with them regularly as we walk through this, but
We
there
love
are
talking to our chatters.
a lot of very interesting people in chat, which is the whole reason we like to do this. We wouldn't do it pre-recorded because that would just be no fun.
That would be boring.
And that's it for us on the Tuesday show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yep.
You guys have a great rest of your week, okay?
You guys have a good night. Stay safe wherever you are. Watch Demolition Man and then report back.
See you on Saturday on the next weekly narrative. Oh, by the way, the podcast on all the podcast platforms is called The Alt-Centrist. So that's the name of the podcast. It's not weekly narrative, but that is the author. But it's called The Alt-Centrist.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yep.
We'll see you guys on Saturday.
Bye now.
Peace.